Studio is live. Mics up. Good morning, Lagos. It is time for us to talk sports inside of the locker room. I was reminiscing, I've been reminiscing all morning about last year's celebration of World Radio Day, and just for the benefit of Tega, thinking it was still that focus on sports, but alas, I was wrong. Today's focus is on dialogue, tolerance, and peace, and I especially love the fact that it highlights, issues like migration or violence against women as against the point. So if you're joining this conversation inside of the locker room here with Tega and ourselves on breakfast.
Valentine and Ayo, and
Hi,
we are
Tega.
hi.
So you join her on Twitter.
Violence against women, and I'm still cold. Good morning, Lagos.
Join,
How are you doing?
join her at Tega Supreme on Twitter or at LIS International. Lagos this morning. You can also send me your messages through WhatsApp.
0809 444 0981. That's 0809 444 0981 on Twitter. We're live at Smooth 981 FM. Use the hashtag LockerRoom981.
So Nigeria's Flying Eagles will wear armbands in honor of late former Nigeria Football Federation Secretary General Taiwo Ogunjobi as they take on Mali in today's Under-20 Africa Cup of Nations semi-final in Niamey, Niger Republic. NFF's Director of Competitions, Bola Oyeyode, said, "We have received a go-ahead from CAF that the Flying Eagles can use the black armbands. It is the least honor that we can accord such an accomplished man who was a football person through and through."
Yes. On the first note, if by now, if you haven't heard, you should know that on, I think it was Monday evening, we lost the former Secretary General of the NFF, Taiwo Ogunjobi, to illness. And I mean, it came as a surprise to everybody. People had seen him just a few days before, and the next minute they're hearing he's gone. But it's a real sad one for sports and for football in Nigeria, especially. He was an integral part in growing the game in Nigeria and Africa as a whole. So we're really sad to be sharing this news at this particular point in time, but we hope that God gives the family the fortitude to bear the loss. So going to the game this time. First of all, we are also glad that the NFF did the needful. They got in touch with CAF in time.
Yes.
So there was not that question of, oh, we didn't know in time, so we can't let you just wear black armband or anything else. They got in touch with CAF and recognizing who the person is to football in Nigeria. This was approved. So Nigeria will wear that armband for the game against Mali today, which is now the next point of call. A serious and important game that the Flying Eagles are about to take on Mali today. It was important, first of all, to note that they picked up the World Cup, but that's not just enough to just go about and do the first or meet up with the first hurdle. You have to jump all the hurdles. So you've qualified for the World Cup, you have to win semi-finals and hopefully bring back the trophy, because we take nothing less in Nigeria.
That's right.
Yes, we take wins only. And so the Flying Eagles are going to have to face Mali. It's a tough, again, Mali is tricky in the sense that, well, let me put it this way, Nigeria is tricky in the sense that based on their opposition, they can up their game. And so against Niger it was a struggle, against South Africa it was a struggle, but I think they've learned their lessons in those games. And so this game against Mali, even if it does look like it's going to be a tough one, especially based on the fact that the Flying Eagles struggled to score a goal against Niger, it just might turn out to be the easy game, because they are ready now. They've passed through the fire. They know exactly what it is, and they're going to get the desired result. So
I hope.
I'm not filled with trepidation.
At the
I'm
same
not
time.
hopeful. I just, you see the team and you know that they can do the job.
Yes.
That's where I am right now. I know they can do the job, but whether they will do it, it's another question.
So let's be cautiously optimistic on
So
this one.
let's see.
What time's the match?
By 4:15.
4:15. All right. So we'll be on the lookout, and hopefully on Friday you'll be bringing us some good news.
Amen.
Amen.
Right, Gent to pay penalty to Liverpool for not playing Awoniyi. Belgian First Division 18 Gent will have to pay penalty to Premier League side Liverpool for not naming Taiwo Awoniyi in the starting lineup in at least 70% of their matches during his loan spell at the Buffaloes. Gent manager Michel Louagie said, "We have given him enough chances. He started 8 times with us. There was also a penalty in the agreement. If he did not start in the 70% of the matches, we had to pay that penalty, so we have to pay for it. We have done everything to make him succeed. I think Taiwo works better in the system with 2 strikers. That was the case in the cup match against Vertonghen, and things went better."
So what you're trying to tell me is that you scouted a player and did not find out what his strengths were before you bought him.
Wow.
But I like what the clause Liverpool just squeaked in there. He has to play 70% of your game, because the whole idea of giving him out to Gent was to see if they could bring him back and use him as their own player. So in order for them to see that he had to have some playing time,
Yeah.
so they gave you this guy for development, and you basically just put him on the bench because he has to play in a 2-player system. You did not know before you went to look for him that he was supposed to play in a 2-player system. I'm so glad that they have to pay for it. I'm also so glad that it was important for Liverpool to put the players' development first, because that's where most of the struggle is. You look at your Nigerian players abroad and you're saying, how many minutes do they really play? Iheanacho came on over the weekend, and he looked like he just needs to go back and relearn the basics of football. Sometimes you see the Nigerian footballers in top flight football not getting enough time, and you're worried about what's happening to their career. So I'm glad that Liverpool put the player first, even if, for one, they had their own interests at heart, but the benefit was for Nigeria, and the benefit was for Awoniyi. So Gent, pay up, baby, pay up.
So, world number 1, Naomi Osaka, has split with her coach, Sascha, 16 days after winning the Australian Open. The Japanese 21-year-old, whose win in Melbourne sealed back-to-back Grand Slam titles, worked with the German for just over a year. In her words, Osaka tweeted, "I will no longer be working together with Sascha. I thank him for his work, and I wish him all the best in the future." Sascha Bajin thanked Osaka and said he wished her nothing but the best. What a ride that was, he tweeted. "Thank you for letting me be part of this."
This is so sad. I mean, he didn't even get a full letter of farewell. It was a tweet. "I will no longer be working with this man. Bye, Felicia." It was over and done. And you have to understand, this is just a few months after Sascha Bajin actually said to the world that I'm in with Naomi Osaka for a long haul. And a few weeks after, you sacked. We don't know what the story is, but Sascha, apart from when he was hitting partner with Serena, which is where he lasted for almost maybe 7 years, everybody else has fired Sascha very quickly.
Wow.
A little too quickly.
So what is wrong?
So he's beginning, I mean, he's worked with Victoria Azarenka, Sloane Stephens, Caroline Wozniacki. It's a very brief career. But you think that for Naomi, the fact that he was her coach when she won her first slam title, the US Open, and then he was with her when she won the Australian Open. I mean, when a coach brings you success like that, you're a bit hesitant to, but she wasn't. She was just like, done. So I need to know what the story is. If this guy is going around the WTA and they're firing and hiring him, there's a story. There's something. Maybe he gets to intense eventually. I mean, he's a buff guy. He just looks like he always says, "Hit one more time." Maybe there's something, but we need to know. Eventually, the stories will come out. But for now, let's just know that Naomi has a new coach. Or we'll get a new coach.
We'll get a new coach. We'll wait for that name. So Chimobi Victor from Alaba International sent in this message on WhatsApp. He says, "May the gentle soul of Chief Taiwo Ogunjobi rest in perfect peace. He will need to part no more. The Flying Eagles should get the job done against Mali in honor of this legend. Not all about wearing the black armband, but to win the trophy. Focus." And then he added, "Tega, which of the fire has this Flying Eagles of Nigeria passed through? Because remember when this happened."
I don't know, understand the question. And frankly, I'm not answering it.
So Tega has decided to skip that. Chimobi. We'll take a break here. We'll be back. We're still talking sports inside of the locker room. It's here on Smooth Breakfast with Ayo.
I'm Valentine.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I don't understand. Is
That
this their
Chimobi
first game?
sometimes.
Is this their first game at the tournament? That's why I tell you to read only one of his message. I'm telling you because you keep hearing Chimobi.
No, the thing, I think because we also needed to enter the 26th time. And at that time...
I don't know why he's asking me. It's not that he thinks this is their first game. I mean,
No,
he doesn't know that.
sometimes I think he just wants to chat. He likes you. He just
Besides,
wants to just talk, just engage with you.
Who knows this guy? Who knows this guy? I don't know what to say.
Every time you wanted, you're asking for Chimobi's number.
You.
This is the body I want.
Really? Why? You? No.
Not this. Man, this.
That's just
No,
not
no, why? Yeah.
Yeah, I know this is a bit much, but at least just
Not even close.
definition.
Then again, I don't understand how it is my problem. It's not my body. It's your body.
It's not so in your face. These are the fitness coaches.
Yeah, he doesn't have to look like that. You see fitness coaches that don't have to look like that. That's really nice. Let's pick up to ride there. They say they want to kill me.
Or visit www.willpower.ng to get started. UTL Trustees, protecting the future since 1966.
I want spaghetti.
Really?
I want really nice spaghetti and meatballs. You see that person sitting beside you?
Oh, he's a great cook though.
Useless. Useless. You know how long I've known him? Useless like this. Pata pata. I can never tell him anything again. As I'm here like this, instead, let me go to Blacktail. Instead, let me just.
For Blackbird, they don't know. Okay, they do upstairs.
Spaghetti and meatballs, the one I make and die. They may not have the meatballs, but they will make it when I get there. Or I'll go somewhere else. I haven't been to backyard before.
Well, then the food is nice.
I need to go to backyard.
The food is nice and the ambience is beautiful.
Okay, I'm going to go to backyard. This one,
Okay.
I'll never make a bath for somebody. So not just a
The Jennifer girl that's the sub stories. It's not happening.
okay. So he'll be alright.
I know, right?
Don't talk to me. Oh. I have a La Liga meeting today. I have a feeling I'm asleep.
La Liga meeting.
I have a feeling I'm asleep. When I was saying, I saw La Liga once. I just hope I didn't drill them.
Studio. Mics are up. Smooth 98.1, still talking sports. The show is called The Locker Room 981 right now. That is the segment, a part of Smooth Breakfast with Ayo.
Yes.
Valentine.
And Tega Supreme is here.
Why is my name not fair? It's
Sorry.
locker room.
Okay, so I'll change
Sorry.
it. Tega,
Mm-hmm.
Ayo.
And
Yes.
Valentine.
Yes, that's more like it.
Your messages go to WhatsApp 0809 444 0981.
Alright, our next story here, and this is Manchester United can't feel sorry for themselves after PSG lost. Now, this is talking about last night's game. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has warned his Manchester United squad that anyone feeling sorry for themselves after the 2-0 Champions League defeat to Paris Saint-Germain will be dropped. We've got Chelsea and Liverpool in the next 2 games, so whoever feels sorry for themselves will not play the next game, he said. Don't feel sorry for yourselves. This is a level up from what we're used to. The reaction in the dressing room is disappointment, but when we go to Paris, we will give it a go, he said. It will be difficult and it's a mountain to climb, but it's not impossible.
So this guy just insulted the whole of the Premier League now. Just look at when I say this is a level up. That means the League One is now better than the whole of the Premier League. It's ridiculous. But Solskjaer's right. You can't mourn about what you didn't do well. First of all, I have to start with this game. Look, let me tell you, everybody and their jazz man were working at a totally different result. And you will know that even PSG did not expect this result with the way Thomas Tuchel was celebrating on the sidelines when they scored the second goal. He was like, "Yes, this is so unbelievable." You know, it was different. But what PSG did, and I'm not sure that they would have executed this perfect plan if they had all their players in place. If Neymar and Cavani were here, I don't think they would have played with this much caution and discipline, and I think it would have been totally different. But because they knew that they were key men short, or key men shy, they came into this game and they were so disciplined and so structured. Apart from Kipembe, who could have picked up a red card earlier in the first half, but we also say the same thing about Boba, so let's just let's just take that with a pinch of salt, yes, like you said. But it was a very disciplined display. In the first half, you could tell that they knew they were away. We know that we are not at full strength, so they were holding on to their shape. They were holding on. They didn't go out of shape. They didn't go out of structure. They didn't do anything extraordinary, apart from a few moments where you saw the chance from Mbappe and then the Angel Di Maria way offside goal. They didn't really do anything extraordinary. They just wanted to remain in this game. Let's not concede. Let's not lose our game plan. Second half was totally different. They came out with the thought that, okay, in as much as we don't want to lose our shape, let's see if we can get something. And that's when I think they really turned it around. Kudos to players like Marquinhos, who held the midfield down. Like, Pogba is the guy that can make things happen if you allow him. Marquinhos didn't allow him. Marquinhos was like that little terrier dog that's just jumping at your heels and you can't do anything. That's exactly what he was. It's not like he was standing over Pogba and roaring. No, but he was doing the important things silently. Everywhere Pogba turned around, Marquinhos was in his back. Like, Marquinhos was his shadow. So he was there making his life hard for him. And that frustration, I think, is what led Pogba to keep making all those late tackles and getting into trouble, and then the eventual red card. But on that note, PSG did well. So I'm not taking anything from them. It was a well executed, perfect plan. On the other hand, Manchester United came into this game. You had the team in form, you had the team playing at home, you had the team with the result, and you're playing a game with your handbrakes on. Because from this, I understand why they needed to be cautious, because it's the UEFA Champions League, so it's a different kind of league. But I think the caution was just a bit too much, because they came in also equally hesitant. I think PSG smelled that and said, okay, these people are as afraid of us as we are of them. And so they went at it. So Manchester United, if you ask me, it started from Solskjaer, the way he arranged his team, and then of course the injuries came, and from there it just went downhill. So yes, Solskjaer, you missed this one. Part of it is on you. The mindset to which you entered the pitch, part of it is on you. The rest of it is on the players. But most of it's on you. But the important thing is for him now is to move on. He has 2 big matches back to back, Chelsea and Liverpool. There's no time to be sitting down and mourning over chances that we could have scored, or maybe we could have played the game with a little more aggression or a little more ambition. There's no time for all that. The next game is on Sunday, Chelsea. You better go in there, guns blazing. That's what he's saying, period.
If it comes to Arsenal, don't talk. Femi from Vestac says, I wonder who Pogba will blame for his red card against PSG. EMC sent in a message on WhatsApp. Victor from Akbara Estate says, plenty people are suspecting that Naomi Osaka's coach probably made an intimate pass at her, which resulted in a dismissal. Let us separate business from pleasure. Jose Mourinho was pretty jinxed, as we now see Manchester United bouncing back into title contention. Interesting. Shay says, may time Ogunjobi soul rest in perfect peace. Amen. And to Tega, please call Iwowun under 20 should teach Mali some soccer private lesson Joe. Valentine sent text to Pogba, he deserves 72 strokes of Bankere beating. My Chelsea, please be nice at Europa. Manu, get ready. Wow, okay. And then Chiro Nancy says, good morning. So yesterday, Mbappe, my guy, did the magic in the absence of Neymar and Cavani. It's all over for Manchester United. No Jupiter will save them in the return leg as far as they will face Mbappe and Verratti. Did you see Ole Gunnar's face after the defeat? He talked UCL is EPL. He actually thought
You
that.
guys are just disrespecting
People
the EPL.
are disrespectful. What I mean. Let's take the next story here. Real Madrid left back Marcelo says all the club needs to do is pay me up, in his words, and he will leave the summer if they want him to this summer. Now, according to him, and I'm quoting his statement, if I'm on the list of players in Madrid, and Madrid wants to sell, then they can pay me up and all is sorted, Marcelo said. I trust myself in my work, but if a day comes when Real Madrid do not want me, I'll go. I'll be sad, but I'll go. But I'm sure I will not be kicked out. I've seen mock-ups of me with a Juventus jersey, and they are a spectacular team, he said. But I'm a Real Madrid fan. I'm at Real Madrid. I have a contract here.
Yes, and
He's suspecting something.
yeah, this. Look, he was always the choice, but they noticed. I think Solari and if anybody that was watching Real Madrid noticed that he didn't seem to have his mind in the game, and he was on the team during that slump. Then they said he had an injury. I was suspecting that injury. See, the truth always comes out. But it's just that Solari preferred the younger guy. He was hungrier. He looked more determined. Marcelo has won 20 trophies. He doesn't need to prove anything to anybody anymore. I think the coach was like, okay, let me give your place to someone that is hungry. You look very satisfied, and that's what he did. And so Marcelo now finds himself outside a team where they thought he was going to be a key member of, and he's outside a team that is bringing results and is doing very well. So he's not in a happy place right now. He's saying, look, if they don't want me again, they should just sell me. But I'll go and play my football. So, but this is what happens when you think, that you're the boss, the boss, and then they just show you that
can touch you.
You're dispensable, just like everybody else.
Untouchable. Moving on away from that, still in Madrid. Madrid can win 4th straight Champions League, says Couture. Now, goalkeeper Couture said yesterday that he believes Real Madrid can win a 4th consecutive Champions League title this season. Really, Madrid play Ajax on Wednesday in the first leg of the last 16, hoping to take one step closer to their 5th European triumph in 6 years.
Yes, so this is an interesting one for Ajax. Again, we're talking about this Real Madrid side that is now scoring goals, that is resurgent, that is not conceding as much, that is executing a good game plan from Solari. They're facing an Ajax side that second in the league behind PSV by 6 points. They're not up to par, if you ask me, when it comes to Real Madrid. But again, this Champions League has taught us a few lessons. That people may not look like it, and then they will go out and get the result. So, if you ask me, I'd say this should be an easy win for Real Madrid in the sense that it almost looked guaranteed. But because it's a Champions League and Ajax can come up with a trick, then I'd say they have a shot. But I still think tilt to the fact that Ajax can't do much.
So maybe Madrid.
Yeah, they may get a goal, an away goal, or they may get a goal that Ajax. I think they may get a goal, but I still think they will end up losing it. End of discussion.
Tega has spoken.
Victor Osai is still hinging on that match yesterday. He says the bubble burst last night. PSG played better without their key players. Whoever compares Rashford to Mbappe deserves a hot slap, he says. We do not condone violence in the show. So Chimobi Victor comes in with that. I don't know, my city is not done. And Tega is not having it. The angel came to Old Trafford to destroy this Man U team. I do not know why they are mocking Di Maria. It's not his fault that they helped demolish the Man U team. Reality check for Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. Chimobi, thank you very much. Nathan Njoku sent in this message.
Sometimes you have to be direct. PSG won because Neymar did not play, and PSG played to the strength of Mbappe and Di Maria. A half-fit Verratti pocketed Pogba. Now, wow. Nathan Njoku from QQ.
Let's take a break. We'll be back here on Smooth 98.1.
This match,
people
truth. Have come alive.
I think PSG. If PSG had Neymar and Cavani, they wouldn't have played like that, and they may not have won. They were beat. They were. You could tell that they were disciplined because they knew. You know how it is that your leg is paining you. You walk with caution. That's exactly how they started. That's why they didn't do anything first half. In the second half, they're like, okay, here that is done. It's here no go. But Manchester did not approach the game well at all. You're at home. Be comfortable.
The spirit of Mourinho has come back on them.
No, Mourinho would have won that game easy.
Mourinho would have won it. The players would have won it for him.
No. Mourinho with these players would have won that game easy. when Mourinho was in charge, I said he would have won. And then Mourinho doesn't need all this. That's the problem. Everybody says, I want to watch beautiful football. Mourinho doesn't do that. Mourinho's question is, do you want to win? Yes, then play my way. One shot on target, one goal, end of discussion. How did Mourinho beat Juventus with this team? This team that can't beat PSG. Mourinho used it to beat Juventus. What are you saying? Eh? Mourinho would have just given them the ball. He's like, hold it. Fellaini! Yeah, enter that pitch and go ahead ball.
Fellaini!
That's all he will do.
I know I thought again.
They didn't play well at all. They didn't. Yeah, let's do this now. I'm really tired. I don't even know what I'm saying anymore. What's the next story?
So Jan Vertonghen.
Oh, okay.
Is that how it's pronounced?
Yeah,
Jan
Vertonghen.
Vertonghen. He says
Tottenham
can
and
beat anyone
Borussia
in
Dortmund.
Europe.
I just
Oh
want
boy,
to
is
know.
he boasting now?
That's good boys.
They can actually be Borussia Dortmund.
Wow.
They're out. I'm so tired.
Hello. Did you have an overnight game to watch?
No, I'm just tired.
Yeah, okay, please, where I need to
You know how you didn't sleep well?
tell
I was asleep, but I could hear everything that was going on around me.
Because when I said it the first time, I raised this issue 2 weeks ago. He just laughed it off. Studio. Max are up. Please observe traffic rules, drive carefully and cautiously as well. Lagos, we're talking sports inside of the locker room. It's a part of Smith's Breakfast with Ayo
And Valentine?
and Tega.
Sorry, take that again, Valentine. You were warned.
Tega, Ayo and
And
Valentine. Alright, so Jan Vertonghen says that Tottenham can beat anyone in Europe as they prepare to face Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League last 16 leg at Wembley. He said, we can beat anyone. We have shown that last year. Over 2 games, we were the better team against Real Madrid, who were the eventual winners of the trophy. That is why it was a shame we could not do better last year, because we felt we should have done better. That is why everyone has the feeling that we can do it this year. Wow.
I'm glad that they have a feeling. They felt like this in the League Cup and the FA Cup. Alas. But moving on. It's good to have that spirit, and especially when you're coming into the game. Yes, missing a few key players like Harry Kane and Dele Alli, but you have Son who is doing a fantastic job, and you have a team that is still managing to claw out results even when it doesn't look very hopeful for them. Against the Borussia side that in recent weeks have dropped the ball they're high flying in Bundesliga. All of a sudden they can't seem to win games, and a key player for them, Marco Reus, is missing from this fixture. So on paper, looking at it, you say Tottenham have advantage, but until you get to the day and you play the game, you can never really know the advantage. Old Trafford has taught us that.
Until it happens. Let's take messages on Twitter. Maximiliano Antonio sent in this one. It says, Ole, your honeymoon with fans is over. Now it's reality check for you. Hashtag theater of dreams. Where dreams are turned to reality. Please, why is Tega celebrating Man U failure? Me, I had the best sleep in a long while last night.
This Maximilian must be like a Chelsea or Arsenal supporter. Anyways, moving away. This is from Nathan Njoku, still saying that sometimes you have to be direct. PSG, we read that one. Madrid can win a 4th straight UCL. Yes, but it shouldn't be coming from Courtois' mouth. The guy in a basket with him in goal. Don't see Madrid winning anything.
My goodness. Chinwe Nancy says Courtois should keep quiet. Goalkeeper that can't even close his mouth like Chelsea. He can talk now because Madrid have started getting results.
Oh God, I can't be here.
Tunde here says, I like it when a team plays with their key players and still gets the result. That's what PSG did last night. They're trying to show their key players can do better without you guys. Lagos, thank you so much for sending me your messages on WhatsApp and Twitter. We're at Smooth981FM on Twitter. Special thanks to Tega at Tega Supreme on Twitter. At LIS International gives you the updates on ladies in sports and the activities that are coming up, especially today being World Radio Day, looking at tolerance and how we can all be inclusive.
Yes. Be tolerant.
Stressing that.
Spaghetti and
Coming up
meatballs.
next, Lagos Talks
Next up, we
981.
have Lagos Talks 981. We'll be picking the hottest topic from Freshly Pressed 981, and we will be opening the phone lines at that point. Here, you get to express your thoughts and your views. You would also have the opportunity to send your messages on WhatsApp. Our WhatsApp number, save 0809 444 0981. Our phone number is 01448 9981.
You have seen your tab. I told you they don't steal tab here.
It's true. I'm very glad, but I'm not forgetting it again.
They don't steal tab here.